I'd like to welcome you all here today to our webinar. We're really privileged to have Lisa with us from ZING, and I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm just going to hand straight over to Lisa, who's going to take you through our session today it's all about planning. So over to you, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Donna, and good morning, everybody. Absolutely love this topic. This is the answer to every problem you've ever had in your whole life, is to get a plan together. So it's really, really close to the bone for me. I love it. So let's get started. So how do I make a plan? I'd like to tell you that in this webinar, and it also, do vision boards work? Okay, so do they work? Well, that depends. Simon's saying, wait, didn't click through. Yes or no? Here we go. There's a little delay, guys, with the mouse clicking. We have to click it all the way from Australia, but that's okay. You be patient with me. So do they work? Absolutely, yes, they do. If you want them to, and if you work them, they work. And do they work if you just make a vision board, pop it under the bed, and never look at it? Then the answer is absolutely not. No. So really, it's like anything in life. You know, if you open a hair salon or a beauty salon and you think, oh, I'm going to make heaps of money, and you don't make any effort towards what it is you need to do in order to get that result, then no, it will not work. You'll burn out, you'll be exhausted, and that'll be the end of the story. But if you want to have a fabulous lifestyle and enjoy what you do, spend time with your family and have the money to do the things you'd like to do, then absolutely your salon is going to work. So it's about the effort you put in. It really is. And I think that sometimes we're so busy writing big lists and making grand plans that we don't do the small detail. The small detail is everything. Now the other day, this will make you laugh, I was somewhere doing a presentation, and just before I went on stage I thought, quick, I'll go to the bathroom, and I walked into the men's toilets and I thought, oh Lisa, you are hopeless. And the reason is I wasn't thinking, right? I was nervous and I ran in. The only difference between the symbol on the men's toilet door and the ladies is a skirt. That's it. That's fine detail, and I'm not a detailed person. I'm a big picture person, so I'm always looking ahead, what's coming, what's the forecast, what's the big picture, and that's why I went into the wrong toilet, because I'm not thinking. And this is why I love my industry, the hair and beauty industry, because you're similar to me, if not exactly the same, and that sometimes we're thinking at the big picture and what's going to happen, and we're not doing the small detail. And that's exactly the same with a plan. Yes, you need a big plan, but yes, you've got to do the small detail, okay? And then you won't be walking into the wrong toilet. So don't do that, guys. I knew it was wrong when a man came out and I thought, what's he doing in the ladies' toilets? Anyway, so let's look at it like this. I think that your vision or your plan or and I'll show you a couple of vision boards, the one that the ZING coaches that I've done at the start of this year, it's a bit like a GPS, okay? So some people say to me, oh, I know what I want, it's in my head. And I think, okay, well, there's a couple of problems with it being in your head. It's really not detailed enough in your head, I don't think, right? So if you trust in the process of making a vision board and you understand a few little tweaks that I'm going to teach you today, and you trust that this vision board is going to take you there, then you'll get there. It's a bit like the GPS. Some people put where they want to go in the GPS only to have an argument with the GPS. And I think, trust it or don't. Okay? Now, I put it in the GPS and it says go there, and I go there. And people say to me, oh, no, don't go this way, go around that way. And I think, well, okay, sometimes I do challenge the GPS, but most of the time I do as I'm told. And I go. And a lot of times I find a much better way to get somewhere, which I would never have done had I not trusted in the process. So I want you to think about, let's trust in the process, let's plan to do it properly, and let's stick to the plan. And because we're big picture people and we're thinking about the grander, big emotional picture, then often we don't go down to the narrow little step by step. And that's what I want you to think about today. Just trust in the process. Okay? So here's a couple of things I want you to think about. Here's some facts. Goals only work if you want them bad enough. Right? A lot of people say, oh, I'd like to work a little bit less this year. That doesn't sound very exciting to me. If you say, I really want to work less because I am over not being there to pick up my children after school. And if you had a picture, excuse me, on your fridge of your kids waiting at the school gate and you not being there, that would really excite you. What I want you to do is I say, that's what I want. I really want it bad enough. And if you want to be there to pick up your children after school bad enough, you'll make it work. But if you go, yeah, look, it would be nice to pick up the kids from school, but my mum picks them up anyway, that one's not going to work. So you've got to really want it. And the reason that you will get there is if you want it bad enough. If you focus on the things you want, then you'll get them. You've got to remind yourself why. Why do you want that? Why would you want to pick up your kids from school? What does it matter if your mum picks them up or not? Right? It might be that your mum picks them up and she shoves them full of chocolates every night after school. And that's not good. You don't want that to happen. So that you know that if you were to pick them up and you were organised, and when you picked them up from school you went home and you had really healthy snacks and they got into doing their homework for the first hour, it would be great, right? But you've got to remind yourself why you want to do that. Okay? And if you want it and you remind yourself, you'll get it. It's as simple as that. Break it up into little pieces. People write notes, and sometimes I see people's notes and they're absolutely huge. Like, for example, you can write, this year I want to paint the salon. I'm going to paint the salon, I'm going to move those chairs, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, it's very easy to say that, but it's actually really hard to do that. So if you were going to paint your salon this year, you might break it up into little pieces. So get 3 quotes. That's the first thing. Think about the colour change. That would be the second thing. Cross off time. So you might need to take a couple of days out of the business to plan to paint. So if you break it up into little pieces and think about, okay, maybe if we were closed on Saturday for Easter and we're closed Sunday and Monday, if I was to add one more day on at Easter, maybe that's when I could get the salon painted. So then you've got to find a painter who wants to paint it. So instead of finding a painter who works on his own, one painter, find someone who's got 4 or 5 painters. So you can see how if you break it up into bite-sized pieces, it's more likely to happen, isn't it? Instead of saying, I'm going to paint the salon this year. So now you've got a bit of a step-by-step process. There always needs to be a way to measure. So whatever you want to do, you need to be able to measure. So say, for example, we go back to the example of picking the children up from school. At the moment, how many times a week do you pick up the children from school yourself? You might say, oh, well, this week it was twice and the week before was once. So maybe your plan is to pick the children up twice a week for the next month. And then you might increase it to the month after to 3 times a week. Because what we do wrong is we say, I'm not doing it and I want to do it all the time. And I think that's very hard to make that change overnight. You can, but it's much easier and it becomes more grounded if you do things in a way that you can measure it. So all you have to do is write on your fridge this week 2 out of 5. And if it ever changes and becomes 3 out of 5, cross out the 2 and put 3 out of 5. Now nobody else needs to know what you're measuring, but you could say, okay, that's what I did. So when you take things into little bite-sized pieces and you measure it, you can say, oh, good, I just want to get to 4 out of 5 because you've never done that before. Does that make sense? Have a think about it. Write yourself some little notes of a couple of the things that you'd like to achieve and think right beside it, how would I break this into bite-sized pieces and how would I measure it? Some things are much easier to measure than others. So for example, if you wanted to feel proud of your business, then you think, well, how do I measure that? Once again, how many times do you walk in that front door out of 5 or 7, or how many days you open feeling proud of your business? So you might say 6 days that you go into that business, 2, I felt proud when I went in. So normally you think, oh, how do I measure that? Well, that's how you measure it. Okay, or it might be the end of the day. When you did the cash register at the end of the day, cash register, I'm showing my age, aren't I? When you do the till and the FPOS machine, how many times a week do you look at it and go, I'm proud of what those people have done today in my business. They're awesome, those team members. How many times out of the 6 days of your trade did you say to yourself, I'm proud, and write it down? Okay, so you can measure everything really. Some are harder, some are easier, I guess, but you can measure everything, right? You've got to also look at what you want and not what you don't want, right? So if you, for example, wanted to lose weight. Well, this is a classic example of me. Now, I'm a little person. I've always been a little person, but as I've got older, it's harder to keep my waistline, and it's, you know, hormones and all of the above. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it's much harder. So what I struggle with is my tummy. So instead of putting a picture of my fat tummy, because that's what I did just recently, I thought, right, look at that bloated tummy, and I took a photo of it and I put it on my phone, because I thought every time I look at that, it's going to remind me not to eat the things that I shouldn't eat, the gluten and things that make my tummy bloat. And then I thought, what am I doing? I've been taught not to do that, and yet I still forgot. So what I did was I went through all my pictures, and I had a photo taken when I was on holidays, when my tummy was really good and I wasn't eating the food that I shouldn't be eating. I was eating really well and lots of vegetables and things, and I took a photo of that. So I scanned through it and I found it, and I put that one on my screensaver, because that's actually what I want. So when you put something that you don't want as your motivation, it actually makes you feel bad, and it makes you feel disappointed in yourself, and that's not the energy that you want. So when you put something on there that you do want, that makes you feel good, okay? And it's more likely to excite you into action instead of making you think, oh, I'm always going to have that belly, okay? I've got a problem with my stomach, and that's why I've got to be very careful what I eat, but I shouldn't say it's hard. Sometimes I forget how important it is to me, and I eat things when I'm out and I think, oh, why did you eat that? So perhaps for you, it might be when you're in your business one day and it's absolutely jumping. There's a person sitting in every chair and the place is really full. What I suggest you do is go out the back of the salon, just take your iPhone and put your hands up really high and go click, 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 and take a couple of photos of a very busy salon. And make that your screensaver, because that's what you want. No good taking a photo of the salon when it's all tidy and clean and there's nobody there. That's not very motivating. So make that your focus. That's what you want. So aim to where you want to go, not where you don't want to be. Very important lesson. Be very, very accurate with what you want. Be very accurate. So when you say things like, I'd like to be busier, well, if we did one more client, then technically you're busier. I'd like to make more money. Okay, so if we made $10 more than last week, done. That goal's been ticked off. Not the truth. Okay, you have to be very accurate. So say, for example, if you wanted to, and I had a lady just this week, she said to me, I want to be able to turn over $1 million. And I just thought, who cares? What are you getting? Right? Be very accurate. So she could turn over $1 million, but she could spend more money on marketing and training and all that. And then if whatever her part of it was, say she's 200,000 is her return on that investment, then it might still be 200,000. So what's the point? Why do you care about turning over $1 million? And she said, wow, I never thought about that. I said, what about you if you didn't turn over any more, but we made some changes in your business that meant that your 200,000 is now 250,000? Wouldn't that be better? And she said, absolutely. So she was thinking about what her thinking was. If she brought more money through the door, she would have a better return on investment. I said, no, not necessarily. So you need to be very accurate about what's in it for you and what do you want. And the same as I said before about picking up the children from school. So if you said this year, by the end of this year, I want to pick the children up every day from school, so that means 3 o'clock I need to have my scissors down, my apron off, and I'm in the car to get to the school at 3:20. So that's very accurate, isn't it? So that means you'd have to take your last appointment, which perhaps is a haircut, at 2 p.m. right? And maybe that's not good enough. Maybe it'd have to be 1:30. So you could have that last appointment. I take last appointments at 1:30, which means that I can be finished at 2:30, which means that I can check on whatever else I need to do and be in the car by 3. So see how that one is much more accurate than I'd like to pick up the kids from school. And then you might say, by the end of the year, I want to pick the children up at every 5 days a week. So you might say, okay, it's February. By March, I'd like to be picking up them on Monday Mondays and Wednesdays. And by June, I'd like to be picking up by Mondays, Thursdays and Wednesdays. And by September, I want to be picking up the Monday, Tuesday. And you can see how you can just add to your plan there, okay? And be very, very accurate. It's really important. So once you've written down your goals and you think about all the things that you would like, and to me, I just think this is the thing that has changed my world since the first time I learnt. And I'd been in business about 3 years before I got a business coach, which is pretty standard. The first couple of years we think we know everything. The second couple of years we think, no, I don't, right? So what Bruce taught me was to make SMART goals. This is absolutely a game changer. So we've talked about this a little bit already. So you need to be specific. Making more money is not specific. Okay, making a net profit of another $500 a week or whatever it is very measurable, right? And by the month that you want to achieve that by is very measurable. Is it achievable? Well, I don't know, because I don't know where you're up to, but you would know if that was achievable, right? So you think to yourself, well, there's no way because I'm in debt at the moment, so I don't know how that's going to be achievable. So you have to check that. Is it realistic? And only you would know that. If I was working with you, I'd tell you what's realistic. So the way that you check that something's realistic is you think, well, what am I doing now? Okay, so it might be, there's a couple of ways that you have to look at your business and see what the growth, and there's three main ways. One, the number of clients. So if you looked after 100 clients a week, that's pretty simple, 100, then is it realistic to think that you could raise the number to 110 clients a week? And I think, yeah, I think we could, yep, because it goes up and down. It's never exactly 100 every week, is it? So you think, okay, so when was the last time we've ever done 110? So you might be thinking 100, but that was the first time you've done 100. You actually sit around 80 and 90. So to say I'm going to go to 110 next week is unrealistic. So, but if you sit at 100, and sometimes you're 105, sometimes you're 98, a lot of times you're 100 around, then 110 would be realistic. So you've got to look back a little bit and find out what's going on. I always say who's who in the zoo, so that you can tell if it's realistic or not. And then the last one to check is in a time frame. Okay, so you think, most people say, right, I'm going to make X amount of dollars more every week. So that's specific. Is it measurable? Yes, absolutely. Is it achievable? Yes. Is it realistic? Yes, absolutely, because we could raise the standard by doing this. We could sell more products. We could do a lot more. We could do a promotion on basin services or whatever it is we need to do, but you never put a time frame. So you've got the rest of your life to achieve it. And that doesn't work. Okay, so by breaking it up into a time frame, now it makes sense. You think, yeah, that's fine. So if we're going to get to 110, let's in the next month get it to 105, and the month after that. So the time frame is really important. And if you had a promotion in your business, you might have a makeup night, or you might get a stylist come in and teach your top 30 clients about, you know, what colours are better for the next season and blah, 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 all of that. Well, then I think that would be really good, because you've got that time frame. That person's coming in and doing this promotion in March, so that would create an interest in your business, and all of these people get to bring a friend, and it's more likely you'll turn them into a customer. So that time frame of getting that extra 10 clients by March, April, May is very realistic. And there's a time frame for it. So you've got to do the activity that will get the results you want. So it's very important that you do. So once you've thought about what it is you want, you write them all down, and I think it's a bit like a letter to Santa Claus. Write them all down, off you go. So then you've got to tell everybody. Everybody. Tell everybody, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay? When I went to write a book, the first thing they said to me is to go home and tell everyone. I thought, oh, okay, what if I don't do it? Yes. Exactly why you have to tell people, because they go, how's that book coming along, Lisa? And I think, oh, okay, it's really good. So tell everybody, absolutely tell everybody, because it's really important. Everybody. Is that going a bit far? Well, you've got to be careful that you don't tell everybody while they're having a haircut or a service with you, because that's a bit self-indulgent. But I think you need to tell the people that are important. So the people on your team and everybody that this does affect them. Nothing worse than telling everybody that it doesn't interest them. That's not what I mean. The other thing you need to do is get someone to help you. Get a buddy. Right, so you might have another salon that she might be a girlfriend, she's got a beauty salon, and find out what she wants to grow. And then we might say, let's do it. People who exercise together are far more likely to succeed than those that don't. It's an absolute fact. If you know that your girlfriend's going to be at the end of your street at 6 a.m. without a buddy, then you'll get out of bed. But if it's only you and you think, oh, doesn't matter, I'll get up, I'll go for a walk after, I'll go tonight after work, well, guess what? You might not go then either. But if you've got someone who's relying on you to do this thing together, far more. And that's why coaching works so well, is because a lot of the people that I work with, they're doing their homework the night before. But I think, good, okay, you could do it the week before, but I don't care as long as you get it done. That's the deal. So it's the same with a buddy. You need someone to help you. Excuse me, my little cough there. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of the way you put it together. So this was Marie's, she's a ZING coach too, this was one of her old ones, and she made it on a bunch of sticks, which I thought was really cute. So each one of these goals she put down here, so it's sell my salon, 5 new ZING clients, exercise 3 times a week, grow my hair, buy a new couch, have a holiday, and happiness. So that's not enough detail, as you know, but this was a starting point. And then on the back of all these cards, she had very detailed as how it was going to happen, right? But it's a bit private, so she didn't want people to know everything. I said, that's fine. I said, let me just take the photo of the front. And they're just pegged. Some people peg them across their window, or there's so many ways you can do it. And because we're creative, we've got to do it that way, because that's how we love it, right? So Marie's hair actually looks exactly like that red-headed girl up on the top right, because that's how it was. Whereas when she started, it was like the girl down the bottom. Okay, so it's really important that we're really focused in as tight and as pointed as we possibly can, because it works. Now that's just one way to do it. This is another one. This one is the other ZING coach, Jay. Now he did it all in black and white, which is really cool. Now as he achieves the things, he's going to colour them in. So I thought that was pretty cute, isn't it? So I laughed there. I'm in the middle, and he's got writing articles, and then he's got date night. It looks like I'm going on the date with Jay. He's gay, so I don't think we're doing that date. And then above him is his partner Jeremy, so to have date nights. And there's his kids in the middle, family photos, networking. Now once again, we've got to hone in on these things, but once again we didn't put all the detail on because it's personal and we don't want to share all of that detail with everybody. So, and he's planning to make it very colourful by the end of the year. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, it's nice if you put the writing on it as well. So go back to each picture and go, is that specific? So savings plan. So here's a fixed number of money that he wants to save. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it achievable and realistic? Yes. Time frame. So that's what he'll have behind that now that he's finished, and he showed it to me. And then I said, yeah, go ahead and put all your little details. So sometimes it's nice just to write it in your own handwriting. So you can just put little blank pieces of paper on it and just write on there. But then it becomes, then you really nail it and it becomes yours. All right, now this one's mine. And of course mine's the best because it's the most colourfulest. So I've got 2 sides to mine actually. This is the side that I want to achieve in this 12 months. And then on the other side is my big, audacious, hairy goals. Right, now on the other side is go on the morning TV show. Like people go, wow, that's scary. I go, yeah, I know, but I'm just putting it out there. So there's lots of things on there, become a Qantas Club member. So what I've done now is I've gone back over this and I've put a month on everything. So I printed out the months of the year and I went across and I did. So it's got December in Bali, but all these other ones, looking ahead with excitement, that's more motivational. 1,000 Club ZING members, so I've got a month that I want that done by. The Qantas Club's got a month. Hairbiz articles, I write in those every month. I'm listening to the books, audio books. There's a lot of things that I've really marked and honed in on. My mum's birthday's in April, but here fashions on the field. I want to go, and now I'm telling you, so I'll have to. I want to buy a fancy frock and go on fashions at the field at the Melbourne Cup. I've never been, and I live so close I could walk. That's ridiculous, right? So I thought, right, that's it. This year I'm going. So this took me a lot of time. It took me a lot of time. But what happens is when you make the time to do it, it's really sinking in. And so now I know exactly what's on there. I don't have to look at it because I cut and paste, cut and paste. I just got a board from Officeworks. I think it was $12. It's quite a solid board, and you can turn it over, and then I put other things on the back as well. So yeah, it's really good, and I really suggest you do it and put it somewhere. So make it so beautiful that you'll be happy to show it to people. It's really important, but check the SMART. So I hope that was helpful. My other tip is make a list every day. Just 2 things, 3 things, not 40 things. This is what we do wrong. We put too many things on the list and then we can't even start. So make 2 things and do the worst thing first. Right? If you've got to call someone you don't really want to call, do that first, get it out of the way. As soon as it's out of the way, then you can get on with having a great day. But what we do is we push it down. The things we don't want to do, we push them down the end of the list, and then we go, I'll call tomorrow. Right? When you find yourself doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you're avoiding it. Don't do it. Just do it. So 2 or 3 things on a list, do it every day, and get the worst one out of the way first. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening in. I hope that was helpful. I'd really like you to send me an email, lisa@zingcoach.com.au, and tell me what you liked, because I'm talking to nobody. I can't even see you, so it's a bit weird, but I've worked through that. But I'd love to know what's the bit that you thought was the most helpful, because that would help me to improve my presentation. So that would be really lovely if you could do that. So lisa@zingcoach.com.au. Love to hear from you. Have a great day. It's only Monday, first day of the week. We can get on with everything we need to do. Love Mondays. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Lisa. And just before we go, if there's any question that you have right now, you can ask Lisa by just popping that in the question pane, and I can ask you those questions on your behalf. So if there is a question that you'd really like to know right now, then you can pop that in there. Or of course, you've got Lisa's email, and you'll be able to contact you directly as well. So thanks, Lisa. That's really good. I really like the SMART goals. It's something that we've been working with the team here as well, and it's really great. You can get all the sort of things for your goals, but if you haven't got that time at the end of it, then it's just a lot of good suggestions and it doesn't really happen.
No, that's right. It's the difference between a thought and an actual action, is the SMART.
Exactly. Okay, I'll just wait a couple more seconds.
No questions. No, they're very shy, aren't they? I don't know why they're so shy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions there, Lisa. I'm just going to take the controls back again so I can just check for any more questions or any comments that we've got there. No, it's not looking like we've got anything there. So that's great. Thank you very much. Now, for those of you...
Well, hopefully I've answered all the questions. Maybe that I've done such a good job, Donna. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. For those of you who wanted to, that you might have missed a bit at the beginning of the session or something, I want to tell your friends, Lisa will be running the session again tomorrow at the same time. Check out Katoomba webpage to register if you want to attend that one as well, and please do tell your friends. Thanks very much, Lisa, and for the rest of you, have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow.